What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 League Racing. We are back in the Streamers and Co VRL for the final round of Season 2, and we're going to be at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. This is one I've been looking forward to all season. I've been absolutely dying to get my redemption here after what happened last season in Silverstone, when we got unfortunately taken out by a rogue driver on the track who decided he was going to take what he deemed to be justice into his own hands, and got so frustrated that he decided to crash me out of the race. So yeah, that was a tad unfortunate, but not much we could do about that. We were probably on for a good result there, so I'm just hoping that we can live up to that here in Silverstone. Now, if you watched the previous video in Singapore, you'll know that there's been a little bit of a rivalry brewing between myself and Jermaine. We currently sit 7 points apart in the championship, but by virtue of him getting a P4 finish in Imola, I will need to outscore him by 8 points today, or get a better finish than P4 and then tie with him on points. And that will be the only way in which I can beat him in the championship. So it's going to be a tall order, but it is a sprint weekend, so that is at least something. Now, our first flying lap was okay. It was a 1:26.7, but certainly I did feel like there was a bit more pace in the car than that. And well, I was able to find it 1:26.2 on my second flying lap, and I was pretty happy with that run, to be honest. I felt like there was maybe only one more tenth or thereabout in the car for me to extract based on my my own pace. But yeah, sadly on my final flying lap I was not able to extract that final tenth. We just couldn't improve. We do a 1:26.6, and yeah, our best lap is going to be a 1:26.2, which at the moment is good enough for P8. But I believe once we get to the end of the session, someone improved and pushes us down into P9. But hey, we at least are qualifying in the top 10, which is pretty good, and I'm hoping that we can take that to get a points finish. Now, we need to ideally get a good result in the sprint and in the race if we want to catch Jermaine in the championship. We'll need well, we could get P7 in both of them, and that would be enough as long as he doesn't score any points. Starting 12th, it's looking like he may struggle to get into the points, but we will see whether he is capable of scoring those points or not. But yeah, a couple of P7s in the sprint and the race would make it happen if he fails to score points, or we could get P5 here in the sprint, and then we'd only need P8 in the race. Or if we got P6 in the race and didn't score points in the sprint, that would be enough as well. So it's really just about maximizing my result in one, and then hopefully scoring maybe a point or two in the other. So yeah, we're gonna be pushing very hard to try and stay with these guys. I am absolutely determined to catch Jermaine in the championship, and we will see if we're capable of doing just that. Very straightforward strategy for the sprint. It's just going to be a set of soft compound tyres to the end. 6 laps, 35% distance, of course. So yeah, that should be good. Now, Ryan actually disconnected from the session right before the beginning of the sprint here, which means that this should be a fairly free place for me as the lights come on and the lights go out, and we've gotten away well. Ryan, as predicted, has not had a good start. His AI just didn't get off the line very well, and neither did Phil, to be fair, so we've managed to jump both McLarens off the start, and we are up into that P7 position that I would like to be in at this stage of the race. And now we're going to try and go around the outside of Reg here as well, switch to the inside for the following corner, and I think Reg might try and go around the outside of us as we come onto the straight here, and indeed he does get just about back past us. We could think about going for a move up the inside here, but I actually think he's going to try and turn his defense into attack on Anto there. Can't quite manage it on this occasion. We stay with him and actually make a tiny bit of contact with him there, but fortunately we managed to escape without any damage to either car. That's just hard racing between myself and Reg there. Actually, his first time racing in the league here in Silverstone. He was a reserve for one of the Red Bull drivers who was unable to make it for this session. So yeah, he's doing pretty well all the way up here in P6. We've had quite a few quite fast reserves joining the league in recent times. Particularly we've got Louis, who I believe is out front in the Mercedes at the moment, but well, his job might get slightly easier as we have a virtual safety car deployed at the end of lap 1. That eventually comes in towards the beginning of lap 2, so yeah, it didn't stay out for too long. And, well, we've actually managed to gap Phil behind by over a second already. So when that DRS gets enabled, we won't have to worry about him, and we can just focus on the fight in front, which currently there is 7 cars and a bit of a train here, although Liam getting a snap of oversteer there, kind of scaring Anto a little bit as well, and creating a bit of a concertina effect, if you will, in terms of backing people up. But yeah, I believe it is Louis, Alex and Kaznuki at the front, and then Liam, Anto, Reg, myself making up the top 7 at the moment. Jermaine has found his way into P9. Now, obviously, if he overtakes Phil as well, I say as he's been overtaken by Ryan there, but if he does get into P8, then obviously we have to try and score more points, because the aim is to outscore Jermaine by a certain number of points. And certainly I feel like with only 15 cars in the race, he's got a very good chance of scoring some points in the race itself. So yeah, we'll have to look out for that. Meanwhile, Reg has got past Anto here, but I think Anto might be coming back at him. Doesn't quite manage to get back at him on this occasion, but certainly I feel like that might not be the end of this battle between the Alpine and the Red Bull in front of us. Reg actually setting the fastest lap of the race there, but that might be more of a testament to the fact that the cars directly in front of him are battling away like crazy. Meanwhile, there's been some contact there between, I think that was Liam and Kaznuki that had a bit of contact there, and Kaznuki's round, that's promoted me up 1 position, and we are up into P6, Kaznuki down into P8. So what that means is that we've gained position, but Jermaine hasn't, crucially, which is very, very nice to see for someone who is desperately trying to outscore Jermaine in this championship. We are just going to have to try and thrive on all the luck we can get at the moment. And yeah, because of that incident between Liam and Kaznuki as well, what that meant, as we exceed track limits for the first time here in the sprint, what that meant is that Liam actually got a 5-second penalty for that contact. It was judged to be his fault, and as a result, it actually promoted me up 1 position into well, you'll have to see where I finish, but yeah, it promotes me up 1 position at the end of the race, because as I'm sure you can imagine, he's not going to gap me by 3.5 seconds here. So yeah, he's battling with Anto and Liam at the moment, or there's battling between Anto and Liam at the moment. I'm kind of falling away from that battle a little bit, but fortunately we've managed to stay just about far ahead enough of Phil to avoid coming under any kind of pressure from him. So yeah, it was a quite straightforward sprint for me after the first few laps, after the initial sort of chaos when we were battling with people. We jumped a few cars, managed to thrive on Kaznuki getting into a bit of trouble as well, and yeah, we're going to come through the final few corners, and it looks like once Liam's penalty is applied, that is going to be myself up into P5, but actually Reg had a 3-second penalty as well. I can only assume that was for track limits, and so with Liam's penalty as well, that actually meant that I was P4. Now, I didn't know this at the time because, well, we didn't ascertain who was being penalised for what until after the race. So at this point, I still believed that I needed to outscore Jermaine by 4 points, when in actual fact I only needed to outscore him by 3 points in the race. Now that's not really that fundamentally different, because I would need P8 regardless, unless I was going to get P9 with fastest lap, but you know, you've seen the pace of people in these leagues. I think me getting fastest lap, pretty unlikely. So yeah, we found ourselves P4 for the sprint. We'll be starting P5 because Liam's penalty, like I said, didn't get applied until after both races. So yeah, we're going to be starting P5, and hopefully from P5 on the grid we can have another strong race to at least finish in the top 8. Yes, there's a few fast drivers behind me, including Reg, Kaznuki, Ryan. I think all of those guys conceivably could get ahead of me. So all I'm going to have to hope is that I can stay ahead of Phil, because I anticipate that he's probably the most likely driver to not get ahead of me out of the people that I just named. If I can stay ahead of him to hold on to P8, then that is all that I will need. Now, I was playing around with the strategy here a little bit, seeing if soft medium was viable, and it really didn't look like it to me, to be honest. It just looked like there was too much wear in the soft compound tyres here. So in the end, I think I'm going to go for a medium hard. We're going to box lap 8, and then we're going to do 10 laps on the hards to close out the race. Now, I think whether people can make it on the softs is entirely dependent on how hard they push them in qualifying. So it will be very interesting to see whether anyone who does opt for a set of soft compound tyres can make it, or whether they will go off. But we'll see what we can do as the lights come on and the lights go out. And we've gotten away well. And, well, we seem to be challenging Anto here, actually. And are we going to try and go around the outside of him at Abbey. We can't quite make it happen, but we're still wheel to wheel with him. We've actually gone off the track there as well, which is quite unfortunate to get a track limits warning that early. Definitely doesn't bode well for later. Still piling the pressure on Anto. This guy is going to be my teammate next season at Alpine. So yeah, I'm trying not to piss him off before we've even started being teammates. You know, I can save that for when we're having ding-dong battles every single race. But yeah, at the moment, running in P5, couldn't quite manage to get ahead of Anto here. Still Louis leading, and yeah, we're just going to see if we can hold the cars that are currently behind us behind for as long as we possibly can. But it looks like Reg is thinking about going for a move into Cops. Thinks better of it, thank God, because I did not want a repeat of Silverstone 2021. And yeah, we have managed to hold on to that P5 for the time being. We'll see if we can stick with the cars in front. I don't know if my pace is going to be quite as good as it was on the softs in the sprint, especially considering I know Liam started on the softs there, and I think maybe Alex and even Louis have too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more pace out of those guys when compared with the people who started on the mediums here. But yeah, Reg got ahead of us into Stowe, so we're down into P6. That's fine. I just need to try and hold off as many of the cars behind as I can. Ryan will be the next car to try and pile the pressure on me. Is he going to try and go for a move into Abbey? I've burned a bit of battery there just to keep him behind for the time being. I'm not going to make things easy for him. Now actually, Ryan is locked in a bit of a battle for P2 in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, and I don't remember what the points difference going into the weekend was, but I do know that the points difference between him and Anto going into this race after the sprint was 1 point in favour of Anto. So Ryan has to outscore Anto by 1 point here today to get P2 in the Drivers. I think McLaren have the Constructors wrapped up no matter what, and I think also at this point Alex, that sim racer, he was the Drivers' Champion no matter what as well. So yeah, it is a bit of a you know, there's nothing really to play for in terms of championships here, but certainly there are still positions to play for. You know, there's mine and Jermaine's rivalry to settle, and various other positions in the championship as well that I'm sure people will be interested in wrapping up. Ryan did eventually get ahead of us there, and I think he's now going to try and set his sights on the Frenchman in front of him, who is the difference between him getting a tenner and getting £15. So yeah, Ryan will be absolutely desperate for that, especially considering how long this battle has gone on throughout the season as well. It's been very close between the two of them, dating all the way back to that first race in Japan, very, very long time ago now, 15 weeks ago, something like that. Yeah, dating all the way back to then, when of course Ryan inherited the victory after a post-race penalty for Fred. Yeah, Ryan will want to try and maximise his position here to make sure that he can see it through to the end. Now Reg has gone round there. I think he got some contact from Anto actually. So yeah, I don't know if there will be any penalties applied later on in the race or not, but we will see what happens with that. But what that does mean is that I've been promoted up into P6, and this is potentially an opportunity for me to really solidify my chances of beating Jermaine in the championship. So yeah, we're going to just try and focus on that, and try and focus on keeping the cars behind if we can. But Kaznuki, not the most consistent driver, definitely seems to get caught up in quite a few incidents, but on his day he is incredibly fast, a rapid driver. He's had pole positions in this league, he's had podiums, so I would not be surprised if we are unable to hold him behind. We do still have the DRS to Anto in front just about, but it's not making a single lick of difference. Kaznuki's making his way through, and well, I would wage to say that's probably the last we're going to see of him in this race, because as long as he doesn't get caught up in another incident, then well, we'll see where he ends up finishing. But he definitely has the pace to cut his way through the field and maybe make his way back onto the podium or thereabouts. We will see what happens with him. But I think I'm now going to have to turn my attention to just maximising my pace, trying to break away from Phil if I possibly can, because he is the car who I am absolutely desperate to keep behind. He is the one who I think it will be the most important to keep behind me to ensure that I can beat Jermaine in the championship. Although we do have a bit of a lifeline at the moment because of that spin from Reg. However, he's not too far down. He's still only in P10, a couple seconds behind RC. So yeah, we will. I don't think we will have seen the last of him in this race with only 13 laps left to go and only 4 seconds to make up on me. So yeah, we will see what happens with him. Beak doing a fantastic job right now of holding Jermaine behind as well. So yeah, my teammate helping me along to win the Drivers' Championship. Meanwhile, there's an epic battle going on in front here between these guys. Liam, Anto, Ryan, Kaznuki, all 4 of them are you know, separated by what seems like inches. They're going wheel to wheel through the corner. There's also a battle in front going on between Louis and Alex for the lead. I think Alex is leading at the moment as they go through cops, but you know, who's gonna win out in that battle as well? There's battling all over the track, and I have a front row seat to all of it right now. This was absolutely epic to witness live. A really interesting scrap. At the moment, there's 8 cars in the mix, poised to take the lead of the race if there's any incidents. So yeah, we will see what happens as we come through the next corner. It looks like maybe there's some contact there. That was between Louis and Alex. Louis is round, the sprint race winner. He has tumbled down the order from that, and Ryan has cut his way through. He's gone wheel to wheel with Anto there, and Ryan has gone all the way from P6 to P1 in a matter of corners. All of a sudden, he and Anto, the 2 drivers battling over P2 in the championship, find themselves 1 and 2 in this race. We're right on the tail of Kaznuki, and I'm trying to put the pressure on to see if I can make my way back into P5. Just because I feel like this guy has more pace than me doesn't mean I'm just going to let him drive away. You know, he's going to have to work for it. He's going to have to earn every 10th that he gets ahead of me. And yeah, we will see whether we are capable of getting past him or not. But what all that commotion has done is it has got Phil right up close behind me. Only 3 tenths separate him and me now. So yeah, I'm going to have to push especially hard to try and keep him behind as well. Anto has got into the lead now ahead of Ryan. Alex is poised to pounce if there's any incident between the 2 of those, and it will be gloves off between the Frenchman and the Scotsman because they are locked in this battle, which actually is for a monetary prize as well. So yeah, it will be very important for them to try and do well. A couple people pitting there. I believe that was Alex and Liam that came into the pits there. That promotes me up into P4, but obviously I'm still yet to pit as well. And I think this is going to be the lap that I end up doing it, you know, on those medium tyres, going onto those hard compound tyres. I'm going to see if I can pull off a bit of an undercut on some of these guys in front. They're only about a second in front, of course. So yeah, there is a very realistic possibility that after this pit stop phase, I could find myself in you know, in P3 or something like that. So we come into the pit lane, we're going to abuse that pit assist because everyone in the league does do that. So yeah, we get a little bit of an advantage over anyone who likes to follow the rules, and yeah, we make our way into the pit lane now, and we are going to be going on to a set of hard compound tyres. A little bit of respite in this race after what has been an absolutely action-packed first 8 laps so far. And yeah, we're going to see if we can contend with the other guys on the hard compound tyres. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but actually the strategy that a lot of people seem to have been opting for, those who start on the mediums, is a medium soft. And well, apparently the secret that I didn't know was that if you only do 2 runs in qualifying and keep a fresh set of soft compound tyres, then that can actually do the distance you want it to do here in the race. So yeah, that was a little bit frustrating for me to find out, but yeah, we are currently, I believe, if we can make this undercut work, I believe we are running in net P3. We'll find out what the gap between myself and, you know, the likes of Phil, Ryan, Anto, all of those guys, how that ends up working. Kaznuki as well. Those were the guys who were sort of in and around the same position as me before we pitted. So here we go. Phil and Kaznuki have pitted on this lap, and we have managed to get ahead of both of them. I think we're already ahead of Phil, but we have jumped Kaznuki by just over a second. But as I said, they're going onto those soft compound tyres, 9 laps on the softs to the end of the race. I don't know if they're going to make that distance, even if they have saved a fresh set of soft compound tyres. It's going to be pretty touch and go, I reckon, and maybe there will present a chance for me to reel them in towards the end of the Grand Prix after they've had, you know, taken the life out of their tyres. So we will see how that pans out, but it will be a bit of a slow burn, and it will definitely be in the last couple laps Kaznuki, meanwhile, absolutely rapid on those soft compound tyres now, and he has made his way ahead of us very, very quickly. So that will knock us down into net P4 in this race once the rest of the drivers pit, which I believe Anto and Ryan are in now. So yeah, whatever position I'm in post pit stop here is the position that I will actually truly be in for the remainder of the race. And it appears to be P5, but what I didn't realise is that actually Reg hasn't pitted yet either. So yeah, we are in net P4 still, but we have a lot of very fast drivers behind us who are going to be absolutely desperate to take this position away from us. We've got Louis, we've got Anto, we've got Phil, we've got Ryan, I believe, is behind us as well. So yeah, 4 drivers behind us ready to take my spot. I think today there were 8 drivers who definitely had the potential to beat me in this race. So any one of those guys that I can beat in this race will be an absolutely fantastic result for me, especially considering I need at least P8. I need to beat one of these guys today to beat Jermaine in the championship. Louis and Anto making their way past me. We were very close to making some contact with Anto there, and well, that would have been a surefire way to create a uncomfortable team dynamic at Alpine next season. Meanwhile, Louis getting a bit of lag there, goes into Anto, but he just about manages to avoid any kind of incident or anything like that. Anto leaves a bit of room for us to dive up the inside of him there, but the hard compound tyres just don't possess the same level of grip as the soft compound tyres that everyone else around us finds themselves on, and as a result I think we are going to really struggle to keep some of these guys behind. Into Brooklands we go very deep. That was not me letting Ryan through. It looked like it was, but that's just the level of grip that we had on these hard compound tyres. Thought about trying to send it up the inside of Ryan there at Luffield, but well, that was only going to end badly. If you watched my Silverstone video from last season, you'll know that me and Ryan actually came together in that exact position this time last season. So yeah, I definitely don't want to have a repeat of that. I don't want to have a repeat of pretty much anything that happened in Silverstone last season. And right now, this race is a marked improvement over that. So yeah, we're going to be pushing very hard to try and keep Phil behind now, because the more positions that I can get, the better. We still don't have a penalty, whereas a lot of cars around us are on those 3-second penalties. So if we can take advantage of that, then maybe we can make up some last second positions as well at the end of the race. But you know, one corner cut will be enough to do it. We got 2 warnings in the first 2 laps. We've been clean ever since then, and well, it was like I was jinxing it, but I did know it was coming. Yeah, unfortunately I went just a little bit too far to the inside at Abbey, and that was enough. We tried to dive it up the inside of Ryan there, but he didn't leave the room. We make a bit of contact with him. That one was on me, but you know, it was just me trying to get a bit opportunistic there, especially with my penalty now. I'm going to need to actually beat whoever I need to beat on track, or hope that they pick up another 3-second penalty, which I think is going to be pretty unlikely, unfortunately for me. So yeah, I'm going to have to showcase my true pace here, I think. I should be alright, as long as RC doesn't catch me, even if Phil does get ahead, which it looks like he's going to go for the move into Cops here, but he goes a little bit deep, and we're going to try and get the switchback on him. This is racing between myself and Phil. He said all season he wanted a proper scrap between me and him. We had a bit of a scrap in Texas, but this time it's for points, which makes it all the sweeter. So yeah, me and Phil going blow for blow right now at Silverstone. 5 laps to go here. Who's going to come out on top? Will it be me, or will it be him? We'll find out. He's got ahead with the DRS for the time being, but I am so confident those soft compound tyres are going to go off. Meanwhile, Louis has had a big moment there, and we've been able to get past him as well. So that promotes us up into P7, but I'm sure that he will be back with a vengeance as the race continues. Although that said, he is falling away from us a little bit, and in fact, it seems like he's maybe given up. Maybe he's decided it's not worth fighting for these minor points-paying positions. But he will be a full-time driver next season, so yeah, I'm sure that he will. I'm sure that he will be pushing hard for as many points as he can get next season. Absolutely rapid driver, definitely a very strong chance of winning the season. I actually calculated what I believe to be the odds of him winning, and it put him in second place. So yeah, he is the second most likely driver to win next season, after Undertaker Dillon, who of course went on a big winning streak at one point during this season. We do manage to get past Phil once again into Cops. You wouldn't be surprised to see. Seems to be the prime overtaking spot here today for most drivers. Some people getting it wrong, but me and Phil managing to keep it clean through that section. But in the meantime, Ryan has managed to break away by 2 seconds. What Phil's doing here really is he's holding me up and enabling his teammate to break away a little bit. So yeah, I think that we are going to struggle quite a bit towards the end of this race to stay with the cars in front. All I can hope is that their tyres start to continue to go off more and more. Meanwhile, out in front of all the people, I would not have expected it to be this person. It was Kaznuki who started 9th in this race after that incident in the sprint that saw them turned round. And meanwhile, Louis has become the first retirement from this race, retiring in the pit lane. But, well, it seems like his AI is taking him back out of the pit lane and retiring him on track. Fortunately, he just about manages to avoid bringing out a safety car, which is good, because that is the worst way for this race to end, is with the first safety car of the race. We've yet to have one. Taz also retiring in the pit lane there. Once again, no safety car should come out because there's already people who are about to start lap 17, so it'd be absolutely pointless. And now I'm coming under a lot of pressure from both Phil and Reg, and that has pushed us down into P8. So all of a sudden, we can't lose any more positions. I don't know what happened here, but I kind of just got caught napping a little bit by these two guys. I tried to go at the inside of Phil, but the tyres I'm still waiting for their soft compound tyres to go off, and at this point, it's looking like it's just not going to happen for me. I did not go on the right strategy here. We've seen it time and time again here in the Streamers and Co VRL, where I'm just not on the right tyres at the right time, and I once again am being punished for not having that strategic acumen of the other drivers ahead of us. But that's okay, because none of them know what the word acumen means. So yeah, we find ourselves in P8 with only 2 laps to go, and Jermaine has just retired from the session as well. And what that means is that all I need to do now is just hold on to this position, and I will beat Jermaine in the championship. The rivalry will be won by me. Somehow I've pulled it out of the bag. I needed 8 points today, and well, it seems like we are going to walk away with 9 points. 3 seconds to RC behind. He's starting to fall away. I think his soft compound tyres are starting to go off. So are Phil's. Is there a chance for me to get him with the DRS here into Stowe at the end? The only thing that isn't working for me is that I am completely out of battery, and I've decided we are just not close enough to even try and go for the move, especially when P8 would be enough for me to beat Jermaine. The last thing I want is for me to cause a bit of an incident at the very end of the race, which ends up screwing over my chances of beating Jermaine in the championship. So we consolidate the P8, we cross the line. Kaznuki from P9 on the grid has won the Silverstone Grand Prix, and what a turn up for the books this was. I am very, very happy with how this weekend went. P8 is a brilliant result for myself, and well, I only hope that I can find some of the form I showed today in Season 3 of the Streamers and Co VRL to hopefully come back and put on a good show to hopefully finish a little bit better in the championship than I did this season. I only scored 34 points across 12 races. Now obviously I was absent for a couple of those races, so maybe there would have been a chance for me to do slightly better if I hadn't been absent from those races. But yeah, your top 3 here, we've got Kaznuki there, and then I believe it is Captain Liam in P2, and well, Anto was P3 on track, but actually he got a 5-second post-race penalty for that incident with Reg towards the beginning of the race, which promoted Alex, the driver's champion, up into P3. So yeah, it was Alex P1 in the championship. Anto ended up finishing P2, and Ryan got P3 in the championship. We were in P12 on 34 points. So yeah, not a season to remember for me, especially after the high highs of last season, where I think I finished 4th or 5th in the championship. We had a really strong season. Wasn't meant to be this time out, but well, Beak scored some points as well, so I'm pretty happy for him, and it's been a good season for me and him at Haas, moving to Alpine for next season. But that is going to be it for this video, so if you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you for Season 3 of the Streamers and Co VRL.